Let me get back to where I was. Moral courage of the strongest kind was needed, for the great mass of Negroes regarded white Democrats as the devil's chosen children. And a Negro Democrat was a creature of such depravity that hell was far too good for him. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, I got to get through this. Finally, Peter Clark jumped up and said, well, if no one else would bail the cat, I'll do it. That's how they talked back then. Applauded and congratulated by those present, he entered the Democratic Party, eloquently told the colored people what advantage would accrue from a division of the vote. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? You go ahead, Peter. Yeah, you do it. You do it. They'll pat you in the back. They'll whisper in your ear, say, oh, yeah, you're doing the right thing, Peter. Keep it up. But when you look around, I'm not going to be there. That has happened so many times in this town, to me, among others. They'll push you in. Yeah, you say it. You do it. You look around, say, who got my back? Nobody. Nobody's there. So Clark did it. And the colored voters stuck to the grand old, he said, I think I skipped a little bit, applauded and congratulated by those present, he entered the Democratic Party, eloquently told the colored people what advantage would accrue from a division of the vote. There are none so blind as those who will not see. The colored voters stuck to the grand old party. They turned on the boy. In other words, they said, no, we're not going. They stuck to the Republican Party. And the colored conference leaders combined and drove Clark out of town. Drove him out of town. His own brothers. He was a strong, courageous black man, but they ran him out of town. To St. Louis he went, unwept and unhonored and unsung. He was the noblest Roman of them all, they said, the grandest school teacher Cincinnati ever produced, a statesman who, Renzi-like, was martyred by those for whom he fought. He made a great name in the schools of St. Louis. This summer, when near the century mark, he was almost 100 years old, he died. Unsuccessful effort was made by some of our citizens to have his remains brought back to Cincinnati for interment. Dead, he was no longer dangerous, therefore more desirable. I could go on. I just had to do that again. It points out the futility and the silliness that some of us, black people, sink to when it comes to our political engagement. As I always say, we play politics just to play, not to win. This is a perfect example, back in 1926 here in Cincinnati, of how black people played politics. They were all Republicans then, now they're all Democrats. We're always going to lose if we do that. We really need to be more engaged with all factions politically and not get so hung up on parties, but get hung up on self-interest. Because as Bill Clay said back in the 60s, U.S. Representative, we have no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. We just have permanent interests. Politics is about self-interest. It's about who gets what, when they get it, and how much they get. It's about turning public money into private money. You need to get some of it, but you're only going to be able to do it if you're engaged in a sensible, logical way. And we have other people who come on conscious media to talk about politics. I'm going to stop there. They'll give you an education on it. But please get involved. Those of you who went to Washington, I congratulate you. But I'll congratulate you more when you let me know what you're going to do in Cincinnati to really honor Martin Luther King and why he died. We really appreciate you watching. I look forward to talking to you again. I hope you have learned something from this show, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I've even learned by talking about it. So I appreciate you. God bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.